So let's talk about what's being said right now in the British media. So a guy called Kevin Maguire, who is a political reporter for the Daily Mirror, posted something extraordinary. He said that preparations are starting for a state funeral and coronation within the next 12 months. So he is implying that possibly King Charles could be gone within a year and the other brother will inherit the throne. And also he will be inheriting his uncle's crisis with it. Now, before we go further, let me be clear about something. Funeral planning for monarchs is always ongoing, always ongoing. It's been happening for years. The palace always has contingency plans for every senior royal's unaliving. And that is not news, because I remember in Spare, even Harry, before he went off to Afghanistan, they sat him down and said, we need to discuss details of your funeral. What would you like? Blah, 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 blah. So that is not news. But I think what is news is the framing, as well as the timing and the way it's being positioned in the media as news. Because for me, I feel this is another briefing and another leaking. Now, alongside the reports of funeral preparations are also columns in the Daily Mail calling for King Charles to abdicate now, immediately, step aside and let the other brother take over. And these columns are clearly coming from Kensington Palace. Now, I'm going to read you what Kevin Maguire wrote in his actual column. He said, Andrew and those who indulged him have destroyed the antiquated institution from within. It's a greater crisis than Edward VIII's abdication in 1936. So calling it the crisis being greater than Edward VIII's abdication in 1936. Now, that comparison that is being made, but I also remember papers saying that Harry and Meghan leaving was the biggest crisis in 85 years. So they need to make up their minds, which is it? And he called, this Kevin Maguire fellow, he called the other brother Dodger, his name, and described the institution as institutionally rotten. So if that's the case, you know, what does it matter who's on the throne? And I think that's my point in my last video, because at the end of the day, if the institution is rotten, why not get rid of it entirely rather than say, oh, you know, let this person take over? That person is still part of the House of Windsor. That person is actually, in my opinion, worse than their father, because at least the father works. At least King Charles is working through his illness, through his cancer, and he's racking up 533 engagements as opposed to barely 200 of his son. So I don't know. But anyway, he also wrote that the other brother faces tough questions of his own, and change at the top is no longer solution when the entire family is evading responsibility for institutional failure. And this is where these reporters are disingenuous. So if the change at the top is no solution, if you're saying is not a solution to what's happening right now, why change at the top at all? Why change the monarch if the institution is still rotten? Because it's still the same institution. Honestly, they think we don't read. They think we don't think. But anyway, I just find it interesting that this is a Daily Mirror. It's not a tabloid that is known for attacking royals. And they are saying that maybe the monarchy as we know it is already over. But this is what I want you to pay attention to, because in my opinion, there's a pattern, and there's always a pattern. And for me, the pattern is the abdication columns that are coming from pro and non-royalists, the funeral preparation stories, and the framing of King Charles as someone who is out of touch and obsolete and who needs to go. They're framing him as an obstacle and he needs to go. And my question is, obstacle to what? They've always been like that. That is the institution. Whether you think they're rotten or not, that is who they've always been. It's hereditary. That's what they do. So why now? Why this crown? Like Elle Woods would say. And like somebody said in the comments, because, I get a lot of material from Twitter, by the way. Somebody said, did someone let Charles know that he's dying in exactly a year? And the person said that the ghoulish briefing from KP continues. Now, I just find it strange that one palace will continue to brief about the king passing, about abdication, about the other brother needing to take over immediately. And the other brother, as we know, has also briefed for years that he wanted to take tougher action over his uncle's situation, that he understood the danger, that he would have acted sooner if he had the power. But then I remember a gazillion other pledges that he's made. The guy barely does any engagements. His engagements last all of maybe 25 minutes. He takes helicopters like Uber. This is someone who doesn't even declare his own tax payments, if he pays tax at all. So why do people think he would be different? So if that is true, that he would have acted sooner over his uncle's situation, why is he now briefing that his father step aside? If the other brother's judgment on his uncle was so much better than his father's, why is the focus on removing his father rather than him addressing the situation? At least his father has said, I will cooperate with the police. The other brother has not come out to say, I will tell the police everything I know. The other brother has not come out to say, where are the victims? Who are you? So we can look after you, so we can support you. Instead, he wants the throne. Because I don't think he wants to address the crisis at all. I think he wants the power. Everyone knows he likes the power. He loves the power, but he doesn't want the responsibilities that go with it. And many columnists, the same columnists that are telling his father to step aside, have also told us in the past that the other brother, he loves power, but he is not maybe the most hardworking royal. So for me, he is simply using his uncle's arrest to position himself for the throne. He's not offering to help. He's not offering to help with justice, with holding his uncle to account, with helping the survivors and helping the victims, or uncovering the truth. He's not offering to lead. He's not offering to demonstrate competence. He is offering to undermine, to brief, and to scheme. And wanting power for power's sake means that you are a man without a plan. Because so far, he makes these vague statements. I'm against this, or I will blah, but we do not have the how. We never have a plan when it comes to him. So as far as I'm concerned, he is not calm, because he said he's not calm himself at the BAFTAs. He's not calm, he's not ready, and better still, he is not remotely prepared. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, please. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And to support my work in holding truth to power, please get a copy of my book, The Luxpreneur, from Amazon, Waterstones, and from Barnes & Noble. Or you can simply buy me the biggest cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Elizabeth Solaru.